Hi. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Thank you for joining in with us on our Team Fireball call, either live or on Facebook or on the replay. We so appreciate you just tuning in and staying connected with us. We just love being able to come together each week and share nuggets that we've learned throughout our journey and just things that are happening within the company and just being able to connect with each other. So for those who don't know me, I'm Alisan Parnes, Pro 6 in LifeVantage, been with the company for 9 years now. It's just nuts when I think about how long it's been. And as someone who has been through ups and downs within my business journey, I will say that it's one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my entire life. To be a part of this company, just through the relationships that I've built with people, through the lives that have been changed through the products. So I'll never stop. I mean, it's just part of my life, and that's why I'm here. I mean, it's just literally a piece of my life. And for me, that's what it's about, is the connections, the lives changed, and just the whole personal growth and development that I've been able to have through this. So so I'm gonna, before I get into the training tonight, I first want to just start off with some really some heartfelt gratitude to our amazing team, because I am so blessed. We are so blessed to have such incredible people on our team. And I want to say a special thank you to number one, Christy, who came out with our team logo for our t-shirts that we're going to all be wearing at Global Convention. And next goes to Carol, who facilitated these t-shirts to be made. So we're all going to be able to share and just represent Team Fireball. And it's so exciting because it's been so many years and we see other people doing that stuff. And we're like, why don't we have our own t-shirt? And, Christy just got her just a wild hair and said, I'm doing it. And then Carol's like, I'm doing it. And then next, just want to say thank you to you, Jenny, for the training last week and, about the QR codes, because what an incredible way to help our business. And then Abby for helping to develop those and postcards. So I'm just so grateful for just the initiative you guys take, as just leaders, entrepreneurs, business people, and then just really just creating a brand for our team. I think it's just so amazing. And then helping our whole team with these QR codes. I just think it's such a great thing to be able to offer. So I just wanted to say that to you guys. So thank you. Thank you. We, just so grateful to have all of you as friends and teammates and everything. So and then a reminder too for Global Convention coming up next month, October 20th through the 22nd. Please be there. I mean, we got t-shirts, we got t-shirts. We're going to be representing. We need all the Team Fireballs. And you know what? If you don't have a t-shirt, I'll give you mine off my back. Just get there. Register. There's just nothing that these events, I mean, it's more than just being there for the trainings, right? We can get the trainings and the education through virtual learning, but really the importance of these events happens, a lot of it is outside of the trainings. It's the conversations that you're having with people, during the breaks, at night, when we're going to the dinners, just hanging out. You're meeting people all across the globe. It's the relationships even that you're building within our own team. And there's just no replacement for that. You can't get that feeling, the same feeling of a hug, of a personal conversation that, you might share on a walk, or a Moses adventure hike that Alice takes us on. I mean, we have so many great memories and so many fun things that happen with every event that we go to, that it's just you just don't want to miss that. It builds your belief. Yes, Kamiley wants hugs. It's true. Our Hawaii team, where else are we going to hang out with them, right? And so I just think it's so important to be there for, anybody who is new to the company. For those of us with new customers, new distributors, just reach out, offer to pay for them to go, like pay for their ticket. I mean, it's so worth it if you can get somebody there, even just for what it costs you. I mean, it's a tax write-off, right? To just get people there, because if they come and they see the vision and they experience the culture of the company and they get the belief in the products and hear the testimonials, like that's so huge for not only them, for you, your business. And so it's worth a ticket. If you have people, especially out west, that where it's not a very long drive just to get to Phoenix, or a short flight. So anyway, Polish biohackers, yes, they were awesome. If you missed the Team Global Aloha call, I definitely recommend going back and watching that, because that's huge. It was very powerful. They're sharing on their personal development journey today. So yes, thank you, Alice, for mentioning that. So I kind of wanted to just go back to some of the basics, because I for the training tonight, really wanted to talk about the database, the prospecting list, because I remember when I first joined, that was the very first thing that I was told to do, is sit down and literally brain dump every name you can think of and write it down. And don't prejudge people. Don't think about whether or not you would ever talk to them about LifeVantage. Just literally brain dump every name on a list. And I did that. And I remember I would wake up sometimes in the middle of the night thinking about somebody, and I'd write them down. And I had this notebook constantly where I'm just like, who can I tell about this? And writing names down. It's so important. And I feel like sometimes we don't stress how important that is. And I listened to actually Brett Brimhall, who he's a chiropractor in the company, either Pro 8 or Pro 9. I can't remember. He's an elite distributor. He was training on the database and how important that is. And even for no matter how long you've been in the business, because it's critically important when you're first starting the business, but it's also really important for those of us who have been in for a while, and maybe we haven't revisited that database in a while, or we're not adding to it. And he kind of got stuck for a little while. Like, he felt like he'd talked to everybody. And his upline said, Brett, you need to make a new list. And because he was really going for the MVP stuff and the Croatia trip, and he was just kind of like, got in that management mode where he's got a great team, he's got success, but I think he just kind of wanted to strive for that next level, strive for that MVP in the trip. And he's like, hey, well, what, I'm stuck. And so his upline encouraged him, Brett, just go back to the basics, go back to your database, make a new list, and start going through the ITT, just, like we're taught. And so he did that. And in 1 month, he qualified for that Croatia trip just by doing those simple things. And he actually did his training from Croatia, was doing the Zoom training on that. And he kind of went through what he did, and it is amazing. And it's like, that's one thing. I don't remember the last time I pulled my database out. I used to have that thing by my bedside table. And when people's names would come into my brain, I would write it down. And now it's like all these years, and I'm thinking, how many more contacts do I have? Because the number one objection, well, not the number one, there's a number of objections you're going to hear from people. I don't have any money. I don't have the time. And the other one is, I don't know that many people. Well, you know a lot more people than you realize. And this is why it's so important to start people off right with creating that initial database, helping them to create it, and giving them tools to help jog their memory. So I just want to go over some of the tips of that tonight. And that also, for people that have been in a while, it's so incredible. Like when I think about like how many more contacts I have now than I did then, they're not even on my database because I haven't gone back. And it's the whole key is you have to constantly update your database. In fact, add 2 people a day. That's what Eric Worre says. That's what a lot of big, people in the industry say. 2 people a day need to go on your prospect list, is because every interaction that we have throughout our day is a potential person that we could share this information with. And if we want to make an impact on people's lives, if we want to grow our business, the only way to do that is by talking to people and talking to more people, and not forgetting about the people you've talked to in the past, because we know on average it takes multiple exposures and depending on the timing of people and where they're at in their lives, they may not be open to it at one point. But if you're continuously going back to that database, seeing, okay, when's the last time I talked to this person? What did I send them? Hey, I need to reach out and see how they're doing, and finding creative ways and to build relationships with people on your database, to the point where at some point in their lives and in your life and your relationship, you're going to have an opportunity to present either the products or the business with them. And so it does require constantly going back and looking at that. So, all right, so I'm gonna just share my screen. And so Brett Brimhall was just kind of going over when his upline Carrie was telling him, hey, you need to go back to the basics and create a new list. This is what he did. He just went to the launch guide. So you go to your website, you go down to the launch guide here. Well, okay, there we go. And from here, you can download the launch guide and print out the names here. You can print out your list. And the goal would be, especially if you're creating a new list or even starting, just get 100 names down. And we'll talk about where you find those names, but at least this is something you can carry around. You can print out, write these names down. And then over here, we've got the ITT system where you're inviting them, saying, hey, thinking about why you've thought of this person, inviting them to a tool, which he says he uses either the ABC primetime video or a short opportunity video, and sends them the biohackandactivate.com website. And then we'll get them, on either a call or a text exchange with a team member, even though he's a chiropractor, and he just talks about the importance of having that, third-party validation, which we know is really key. So again, just don't forget about this launch guide in your back office, and it goes through that ITT system. It goes through why you're doing this. So just, all people starting out really should have a copy of this and go through it with your upline, so that we know your expectations of what you want in terms of, if you have a financial goal, why you're doing this business. Because when it does get hard, or you have people tell you no, you need to be able to look back on this and remind you of why you're doing it to begin with. So again, this is a great initial way you can start databasing, either by printing this out, or get a notebook. In here, you've got the memory jogger. This is really going to go through the things that if especially for the people who say they don't know anyone, well, there's a whole lot of people that you don't realize okay. And Eric Worre has a major, I can put the file on Facebook, but he's got like a 66-page memory jogger, which goes into even more than this to help people come up with names. And the more names you have, the better, because psychologically, it's important, because if you're just starting out in network marketing, I'm going to stop share for a minute. if you're just starting out in network marketing and you think, oh my gosh, you're thinking of like 5 people that would love, that you think would be perfect for this, right? And you're not really good at sharing the information yet, but you're excited and you just go to those 5 people and you're like, oh my gosh, I think you'd be awesome at this. And I know, I'm so excited and I want you to do this with me. And they're like, no, thank you. You're going to be devastated. You have 5 people in mind and they all tell you no, you're going to think 100% rejected you, I'm out. Okay, so this is what happens to a lot of people. They get scared and then all of a sudden they don't want to share anymore. And it's just, so it happens to all of us. So and what Eric Worre talks about is this databasing is a skill. It is work and it's a skill that it's part of your training as a professional in this business that you need to sit down and brain dump. And he goes through this, even if so he starts with family. He's like, okay, go down the family list, your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your in-laws, yada, yada, yada. Don't worry whether or not you would ever approach these people. Don't judge it. Don't prejudge it. Just write their names down, because when make room for other names to come in. And all of a sudden now you're going to think, oh, my mother-in-law, well, she has all these friends. She's got Marjorie and Helen and these. And then all of a sudden, just getting those initial names out is going to make you think of other people that that are affiliated with those people. Then you write those names down. And then you continue going through your email contacts, just literally writing them down. And this is going to take a day, probably at least, to get those names down, go through your phone contacts, go through your email list, your social media friends, get the names down. And that way, not only do you make room in your brain, when you write those names down, but also when you're looking at that physical piece of paper and you're seeing all those names down, you're not putting as much weight on one person that tells you no. Because if you have 200 people or 100 people and a couple of people tell you no, you still got tons of people, and then if you're constantly adding to that, you're never going to run out of prospects. So, all right, so let me kind of organize myself really quick, because I watched a good training day. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to make a new list, you guys. I mean, literally, I'm going to go back and revisit my old list, but there's some people on that old list now that, because I've been in a while, I might be more selective in who I reach out to, because you want to have people that you want to work with. And I see everybody laughing, and I'm not reading the comments, but I'll go back and read them after I'm done. But anyway, there's a whole new list of people that I have not talked to you about LightVantage. So let me get into this. So we talked about the launch guide. Get into this. Kind of going through that again. List every person you can think of their sphere of influence, all the organizations you interact with, whether it be church, sports, wine club, book club. Start just kind of brain dumping on all the people throughout the equine world, through your travels, somebody you might have met on an airplane, Alice. List people who provide services to you, whether it be your electrician, your hairdresser, your massage therapist, even people that you bought things from, people you do business with. Carol, the person who's doing your t-shirts, all these people just could be potentials that you just write their names down. And again, this is just about making a list. This is not about whether or not you're going to actually, reach out to them. This is simply the list part of it. So just put them down, and that way, it's kind of crazy. It's like when you do this exercise, it's amazing how so many times these people will come back into your life when you hadn't talked to them in years. But it's almost like that whole like energy thing of like putting it on paper, thinking about them, and all of a sudden you'll see a post from them, or maybe just something that they come back into your life. It's weird. That has definitely happened to me throughout the years when you're putting that focus out there. All right. This was so Eric Worre, like I said, if you can download this as a PDF, it's free. If you go just actually Google The Ultimate Memory Jogger by Eric Worre, it's 66 pages of ideas to help you think, be able to come up with names. You will never run out of prospects. I guarantee you, if you look at this memory jogger, and then every day that you're coming into contact with people, you're going to be adding to this list. So again, very important, especially for those of us who have been in for a while. We might have made our initial database, but we just put it aside and not looked at it for a while. We definitely need to add to this every day. This is like the lifeblood of our business, right? These are the people that we need to talk to, and the people that we're coming into contact with every day that we might be able, if we're aware and kind of have that higher level awareness of when we're having interactions with people, whether it be in the grocery store, the airport, a restaurant. If we are just having interactions with people and listening, we could definitely, get information, contact information, and be like, I'm so enjoying talking to you. You did a great job today, like taking care of us, whatever service they provided. I'd love to share something with you that you might be interested in. Can I get your info and send you a link to check out? And this is how people are able to constantly add, just everyday people and interactions to their database. And if you just did this like 2 people a day every day, this would equal, if you're doing it six days a week and taking 1 day off, would equal 600 people a year. In 5 years, you'd have 3,000 new people contacts added. And so you literally are constantly, you'll never be depleted of people to talk to. And so this was another thing that I thought was really interesting. All right, we know about social media. We've had tons of training on this, especially with Facebook and Instagram and things. But I was watching this training today, some like high up elites and some other companies that were talking about the new data with LinkedIn. Now, I don't really use LinkedIn, but apparently, Mike has always used LinkedIn for business stuff and jobs. And he's actually told me, he's like, it's really become more of a social media platform. Like it used to be just people posting like jobs that, they needed, or people who are looking for jobs. And now it's become way more social. And apparently it's way more effective. And according to, these guys, and then several people who have books been written on it, and then Forbes even came out about network marketing in particular, saying that LinkedIn is one of the best ways to recruit in any business, that it's 277% more effective than Facebook. And it's ideal for thought leadership, and 94% effective for content distribution, which actually that right there is so huge, because we know that when we make a post on Facebook, it's pretty much just going to our friends. It's rare that, like with LinkedIn, your content is being exposed and shared and distributed at a way higher percentage than on Facebook and Instagram. And the thing with LinkedIn is you have a professional group of people that are literally looking to pursue career. They're looking for ways to earn money. They're looking for even a lot of entrepreneurs are on there looking for ideas, like this whole thought leadership of how can I create my own, business, or how can I not, have to work for a company, but literally, have mastermind with other leaders. And then there are groups just like on Facebook that you can connect with. And then your content's going to be shared at a way higher level through LinkedIn. So I'm not familiar with it, but it was really piquing my interest, like listening to them talk about it. And then so there's this guy, Scott Aaron, this is his book. It's called The LinkedIn Book for Network Marketing, Simple Strategies for Massive Success. So if you guys want to screenshot this, this was highly recommended if you're interested in maybe branching out through LinkedIn and social media marketing. This is a book that was recommended. And this was actually Scott Aaron's statistics when he started recruiting on LinkedIn. And he essentially was able to make 25,000 connections in 30 months. And so connections just means it's almost like a Facebook friend request. That's all that a connection is on LinkedIn. But with LinkedIn, oftentimes they're checking out your bio, they're checking out who you are before they actually accept your connection. So it is a little bit different than Facebook, because they're kind of seeing, like, do I have anything that, about this person that interests me? And so he was able to make 25,000 connections in 30 months. And he had ended up out of that having 40 conversations per week, which is just like basically direct messaging, which LinkedIn has their own, direct message system called InMail. He was able to get six recruits per month through this system. And so this kind of shows you what he did, and what could happen in 6 months if you were kind of using this formula. So anyway, it could end up being a whole lot of people that come on board, even in 1 month. To imagine to get 6 distributors just, after having these conversations with people and making the connections. And so again, something that might be, you're dealing with a higher caliber of people, I think, on LinkedIn than on your general social media, because they are more business minded and they're all kind of, looking for opportunities. So it's just something that I thought was kind of cool and interesting and hadn't really looked at. So anyway, that book is definitely something that I want to check out and listen to. And all right, I'm going to stop my share here for a minute. And so we're almost at the end of the hour. Let me just make sure I don't have anything else. Oh yeah, there's 800 million people sitting on LinkedIn. 800 million people. And I think I covered everything. Anyway, so go back, revisit your database. If you've been in for a while, if you're brand new, create your database and use the memory joggers to help you do that in your upline, because it's super, super important. And okay, how are there 21 chat messages? All right, now I'm going down. Okay. Add to your database on vacation. Alice, yes, great. Alice did that. She's so good. She just talks to people and listens. English literature professor. Oh, Christy, that's awesome. Can you post the same way on LinkedIn like Facebook? Jenny, I don't know. I think I have an account with LinkedIn, but I haven't gone there in a long time. I think it would be interesting for all of us to check it out, though, because again, I just feel like it's way more appropriate on LinkedIn, because everybody there is looking for opportunities to make money and connect with other professionals. versus Facebook, where it's like our friends and our family. So that just kind of like clicked for me today of like, I mean, yes, we want to share with our friends and family, but a lot of times sometimes people are just more comfortable not doing that and going on like kind of another platform with other professionals. Because what do you have to lose if somebody tells you no and you don't know them? But what if they are all about health and wellness and biohacking, and you're connecting on that level, and you start talking and they're trying to share with you about something they have, and you can be like, yeah, well, check out this. And then, I mean, I think like that is just this whole thought leadership and like exchanging of ideas would come way more naturally on a platform like LinkedIn. And then I think maybe just getting that audiobook and listening to what he says, because I'm sure, like, I mean, these guys were totally saying like they actually do book reviews even. And they said the only thing about that book that they didn't like was the very last chapter. He over promoted his services to his readers. And they said everything else, the first 9 chapters were invaluable about LinkedIn and how to build your profile and how to share your information and how to connect with other people, like-minded people and groups and things like that. And they were just like, oh, this is amazing. And then the last chapter, he kind of like blew it with just selling himself to the reader. So they were like, other than the last chapter, we would recommend, he's like, and his services are probably great, but they were like, he honestly didn't even need to over promote himself because he had so much credibility through the whole book. People would have just gone to him, so anyway, I think that, we just won't read the last chapter. I know, it was just funny they were saying that, but they were like, definitely read the book though. So anyway, all right, well, I'm going to close for tonight. Hopefully that helped a little bit, just the importance of databasing and going back to it, starting a new list if you've been in it for a while, and making sure to follow up and just continue to find creative ways to develop relationships with the people on your database. Okay.